Hey everybody, it's Wes here at Fundamental Games. Just here to deliver update number 9 of our post Kickstarter weekly updates. And there's not a ton of new information today, but there is still some exciting things happening and underway. So first of all, we talked about the prototype. I mentioned that last week. Just putting the finishing touches on it, and it should be in airmail hopefully next week and get to me the week after. So by the end of September, I hope to have that new copy right from China, the copy that you guys are going to get, just kind of an early version in my hands, and that'll give me a chance to really fine tune and see where the cut lines or the die cut lines might not be right, if the sizing of things isn't right, if the image quality wasn't done proper, because I want to make sure we get the right product to you. So it's kind of the earliest preview, and then what I plan to do is go through everything, fine tune it one more time. By then we'll get more and more of the art pushed in and send that again, and we'll get a second prototype copy. So by the time the final manufacturing takes place, it'll have gone through 2 previews and then a final copy. So rest assured you'll be getting something of high quality that you'll enjoy. So that's the prototype, and the cool thing about the timeline of that is that I should have that prototype in my hands in the time for what's called FallCon. And FallCon is a gaming convention in Calgary, Alberta. It's just about an hour from here, and that'll give me a chance to demonstrate it. I've got 4 demos planned in Calgary in front of a live audience of whether it's 2 people or 5 people, as well as passersby. I remember the last time I went to that, which was last year, there were easily 500 to 1,000 people that went through that day in the convention. That's not to say they're all going to look at my game, but if even 50 people look at the game, some of those people may be interested in back it and spread the word and keep developing the awareness of Legends of Novus. So FallCon happens on September 28th, and I should have the prototype of the game, including this lovely 20-inch by 20-inch by 20-inch neoprene mat, which I'll be bringing to the convention, and that should help gather some interest just in the visual of that alone, with having the actual folding game board next to it. Speaking of the playmat, this playmat is very durable, stretchy. It's not too thick, so it doesn't rise too much off the table. And it's got all the color and icons that we need for it to do what it needs to do. So this is getting manufactured as we speak. There's over 100 copies of this getting produced, and it should be getting shipped out early next week to each of you Legends of Novus backers, for those of you who opted for that or had the add-on. If any of you had specifically paid for a second copy of it, please, if you happen to watch this video, let me know. I'm pretty sure I got everybody's copies to them, but if somebody had an extra one ordered, I might have missed that. So I want to make sure I get the copies that you deserve out to you. I'll just double check the stats if that's the case. So if you get your neoprene mat anytime in the next 2 weeks, feel free to drop a comment or share a picture on the Legends of Novus Facebook group. We'd love to see the first item actually in your hands as a Legends of Novus backer. The art book is coming together very well. I'm going to share some in the update today, and just really going through and going to put a little bit of info character by character, kind of like I've done with the stories, but it has to be summarized in a single paragraph. So each of those characters will have a little blurb, as well as a full-size page, 8.5 by 11. So just a bit smaller than that. It'll take up about 70% of the page just for that character art, which will come across a lot more vibrant and colorful than you'll see on the character cards, because obviously those are a little bit smaller. So you get to see some of the detailed work that Andrea puts into his art, and it'll be a chance for him to have a kind of his own portfolio book that you guys help make possible. So that's fantastic. And we'll also have the location and art in there, which will help with Boros Tarano's art and a couple other contributing artists, one of which we've got their art featured today in the Nost City of Hills. It's a beautiful piece. They really took the concept I had drawn out with the hills, and it almost it'll remind you a little bit of Hobbit holes, but it's kind of designed a bit more rustic, a little bit less homey than a kind of a halfling house or a hobbit house. These are more crude human versions in the newly formed foothills of Nost, or foothills of Turin, that are in that city. Alright, but other art is coming along. You're going to see the awesome spider that he's put together. You're going to see the mesmeric imp that art is finished for, and much more will come next week. So we'll try to get as much of that art into the art book as we can, knowing that you can't possibly cram every piece of art into it. We just want to get a good menagerie, a good composition for you, but definitely have every quest creature, every character, and the most scenic locations will be all highlighted in that book for you. All right, the 5E adventure campaign or adventure book, that's going to be coming soon. When I say soon, I mean within the next 2 months. I've got the whole skeleton. I've got each of the chambers now planned out as to what I want to happen in them and how they're going to tie together for the final confrontation within that adventure. And it just truly introduces anybody that's playing D&D. It brings their characters into the world of Novus and kind of shares aspects of the world to them through pictures that they'll get or through readings that they'll see or statues. So I think it'll be a cool way to introduce players who didn't even know Legends of Novus existed into this world. And then if you have the board game as well and you have this 5e campaign, you can be like, did you like that world? How about we try a real game of it? And you can even bring out the board game and surprise them with it if that's the type of thing you want to do. All right, so that's in progress now. And of course, there's also one other thing I wanted to mention to you guys, and it doesn't specifically have anything to do with Legends of Novus, but it would help my efforts as a game designer and Fundamental Games as a company, just kind of elevate professionalism and awareness to the potential we have for the game design of this of what I've been working on. And so it's just a micro game that I plan to put an entry into at the end of the month. It's going to Button Shy Games, and I'm sure any of you Kickstarter backers have heard of them before. They've got quite a few successful titles. And what their September challenge is to put together a game that's 18 cards and has to be identical. So every one of these cards has the same thing, front and back. So the backs are black, the fronts are white, and the game that I created based on this concept is called Ideology. And I used a couple symbols from Novus just so that I have my own art for it. Thank you again, Andrea. These are beautiful images to represent the game. And basically players are going to take turns. They each have 9 cards. One player is black, one player is white. And they're going to play the cards out on their table in an effort to have the most ideology symbols in the ones that they are working towards. It takes only about 5 minutes to play, maybe 10 if you're really thinking about the game. And but there's a lot of strategy and depth involved in this 18 card micro game. So if you have any interest in play testing it and giving me feedback about what you think works well with it and what doesn't before I submit it to Button Shy, keep in mind this is not a pay to play event. I mean, this is a submission that I put forth to them, and it can't be widely published or sold, and that's not the intent. My goal is to get as much feedback as I can, good or negative, about how to make this game better before it goes to them as a video and as a rule book. So if you are interested in this, shoot me a line, send me a direct message on Facebook, send me an email to fundamentalgames@icloud.com, and I can get you the PNP file just so you can see what it's like. You could read over the rules if you just want to do that. You could print the game and play it. It's just a 2-player game, and just let me know your thoughts. That'd be fantastic, and it kind of helps build my name as a designer, because I am still very new to the board game world, and Fundamental Games, kind of a contributing player. If we happen to do well, don't even have to win the contest, but just getting through the early stages and progressing, just to show that this is a very interesting design, so to speak. All right, that's it for today. So hopefully you enjoyed the update. There's plenty of other stuff written down, and all the pictures that I mentioned are shared in the update. So make sure to take a look through that, and we'll have some new images and other updates for you next Friday. Take care.